Yeah. No, there was, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. This is what happens at 3 o'clock every day. It's like, oh, I have a way to continue this conversation. And then it's just
I
gone.
know usually 3 o'clock is like my afternoon pick-me-up time.
I know.
Okay, I need a coffee or something.
Hey, Chelsea, welcome to Meet the Team Monday.
Hey, Alex, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Of course. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Chelsea, you're our director of training, which unlike, as great as all of our SDRs are, a more unique role here at Demand Drive. So super excited to talk to you a little bit about what that role's been like, how you sort of got to it. And I think to just kick things off, let's talk a little bit about why you enjoy the role of being the director of training and in charge of bringing on all these new reps.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique position. I started with Demand Drive about 6.5 years ago when we were really, really tiny. And as I continue to do like the SDR role, obviously I did it for a number of years and had a lot of experience across like different clients and working with different SDRs. And I've always had like this kind of like just like teacher mentality inside of myself. My mom always said to me like, ooh, like you would be a really good teacher. But never saw myself in like really like a classroom kind of setting. And then obviously like as Demand Drive continued to grow and scale, there was definitely a need for some more like structure and somebody to kind of like take hold of the training here at DD, especially considering how many people we onboard and bring onto our team here. So that's kind of how I got into this role. The timing just really kind of worked out perfectly. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to what I love about the role, one of the things that is really, really cool about this part of my job is that I'm one of the very few people at Demand Drive that gets FaceTime with every single person that starts here. A lot of the other SDRs really, especially now in this remote world, really only meet people that are like work directly with them. And same thing with managers, right? They really only work with the SDRs that work on their programs. But I get to meet and see and work with every single one, which is really, really cool and something that I definitely don't take for granted. So I really love that aspect of it. And then obviously just like the kind of teacher aspect, right? I've always gotten some kind of thrill out of seeing that like light bulb or like aha moment go off in somebody's head when you explain something to them, or when you work with them to get them to understand what it is that you're teaching or that you're showing them. So yeah, I would say like those are kind of the two biggest things that I love most about this job and this role specifically. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I love to hear that. It's always I think sort of to your point of like getting to see everyone, especially since we went remote, we've grown a decent amount. And so, for me who just has that, 2 half-hour training windows in there sort of throughout the week, it's nice to be able to see them and like say, hi, mm-hmm. I'm Alex, but it's cool that you're able to like really get to know all these reps as they come in. So you can be, a friendly face moving forward if they ever need, advice or something down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. To move on, work isn't everything, obviously, as much as you enjoy it. Tell me your top 3 summer activities.
Oh, okay. Top 3 summer activities. One would definitely be reading. Reading is not something that I got into until like my mid-20s probably. Like when I told my mom how many books I had read like 1 year, she was like, you're reading? I was that person in high school that would just like look up on Spark Notes. Like I hated reading, especially when it was something that I was like told I had to do. Yeah. I really like to read about things that I'm interested in. So reading is definitely like a great summer activity for me. I like to like sit outside and read, and it's mobile, right? Like you can read anywhere really. Yeah. So it's great in that sense. And then family time is huge for me. I'm really close with my 2 sisters. And I have a 16-month-old niece now, who is just so fun. So always spending time, with my parents and my family, and the little one. And then kind of like in that same realm, my parents have a boat down here in Rhode Island, which is where I live. So the summertime is so much fun for me in Rhode Island because we have pretty much the whole family down here like every weekend, getting out on the water, and really enjoy sailing. For anybody that has never done it before, highly recommend it. It's really cool. So yeah, those are definitely my 3 kind of top summer activities, I would say. Books, family time, and out on the water. Yeah.
There we go. So you just get you on a boat with your family and a book, and you could just stay there forever.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's all I need.
That's heaven right there. That's amazing. No, with books, I feel like I'm similar, where I really want to like reading, but I need to get myself there. So it's encouraging to hear that, late, because I was like that in school too, like Spark Notes, Cliff Notes, I know enough. I hope none of my old high school English teachers are watching this, but no, that's awesome to hear. And then sort of on that topic, last question for you. What is your favorite genre of book?
Yeah, so I like all different kinds of books. Like I kind of bounce back and forth because I find like if I stick to one genre for too long, I get like bored of it, and then I'm like, I need to switch. But my favorite type of book to read is like historical fiction. Like I love stories that are based off of true events, but are almost dramatized in a way to make it like more enticing to read. So I'm like that with shows and movies as well. I go down like these like little rabbit holes where I obsess over like these like things that happened, in our past, and I'll like call my parents and be like, do you remember like this happening? Like, what was your experience with it? So things like learning more about Chernobyl, right? Like that HBO series came out. And then last summer I read like a really long book that detailed like the entire thing that happened. And like, it was very scientific. It was a little bit over my head. But when I rewatched the series, I did feel like I was an expert. So that was helpful. Yeah. So things like that, right? Like events that happened, like in the past and kind of learning about them now, right? Things that maybe happened like in my childhood when I was too young to really know. Right. I think like when you can learn something from reading, like it's really, really cool. And so, yeah, that's kind of like how I give myself history lessons, like every once in a while, is through a book or through a good movie and TV show. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Would you say Chernobyl's like, that's the most interesting rabbit hole you've been down, or do you have another one that sort of stands out?
Another one that I went down is Radium Girls. So basically like after World War I, I think it was, there were like women were working in factories and painting like the dials of watches for all of the army members with like radium paint. And the way that they would paint these is like they would put the tip of the brush in their mouth to make it like really pointed, like after they had dipped it in like the radium paint. So they were all dying from like radiation poisoning. But this was before anybody knew really like what radiation poisoning was. So it's a really wild story. It's really sad, but it's interesting when you realize that it really wasn't that long ago, and it seems like it was like, oh, that had to have happened in like the 1600s or something, right? There's no way something like that would happen this like recent, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was a pretty intense rabbit hole that I went down.
Seriously, yeah. It probably got a little dark there, right?
Definitely a little dark, but interesting nonetheless. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for hopping on me for Meet the Team Monday, and I'm sure I'll speak with you soon.
Yeah, no problem. It was awesome, joining, and appreciate the invite. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
Of course. See you later.
Bye.
AJ freezes in such great ways. This isn't even the best one, but I have one of them as a virtual background where I can just go.
Oh my God. I feel like whenever AJ freezes, it's always in the most animated way.
It's while he's talking every time.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah. That's great.